food that binds the living and the dead. Mama G was no ordinary food vendor. In the bustling village of Umuaka, her food joint was the most popular. People traveled from neighboring villages just to get a taste of her famous nkwobi and pepper soup. But beneath the savory aroma and the rich flavors of her dishes lay a dark secret, one that no one suspected. Every evening, under the cover of darkness, Mama G would sneak into the village mortuary, where she had struck an unholy bargain with the mortician. She would collect the water used to bathe the dead, believing it possessed mystical properties that attracted more customers and kept them coming back. Her business flourished, and so did her wealth. The villagers adored Mama G, hailing her as the best cook the land had ever seen. But little did they know, each bite they took bound them closer to the spirits of the dead. The enchanted water infused an irresistible flavor into her meals, making her food addictive beyond explanation. The once quiet and struggling food vendor had transformed into a local legend, but her fortune was built on a foundation of graveyard secrets. With every steaming plate of jollof rice, suya, and egusi soup, Mama G's fame soared higher. People swore her meals had a certain richness that could not be found elsewhere. The whispers of her secret ingredient remained hidden, buried beneath the satisfied sighs of her customers. But as the weeks turned to months, strange occurrences began to happen in the village. Some customers complained of seeing shadowy figures watching them at night. Others swore they heard voices calling their names after eating at Mama G's shop. The village elders dismissed these claims as superstition, attributing them to overactive imaginations. But something sinister was at play, lurking in the aroma of her meals, waiting for the right moment to reveal itself. It was on a Sunday afternoon when Pastor Huoma arrived in Umuaka. A respected man of God, he had come to the village to hold a revival crusade and pray for the sick. His presence was seen as a blessing, and the villagers welcomed him with open arms. After a long day of ministering, the pastor, exhausted and famished, was directed to the best food joint in town, Mama G's spot. As he settled at a wooden table, Mama G personally served him a steaming bowl of goat meat pepper soup and a plate of pounded yam. The aroma was intoxicating, rich with a depth of flavor he had never encountered before. But as he took the first spoonful, a chill ran down his spine. There was something unnatural about the taste, something that made his spirit uneasy. The moment he swallowed, his vision blurred, and he saw flickering images of lifeless faces staring back at him. He dropped his spoon, eyes wide with shock. A deep, uneasy feeling settled in his chest. There was something terribly wrong with this food, and he was determined to find out what it was. Pastor Ihuoma sat frozen at the wooden table, his heart pounding as the eerie images faded from his vision. Around him, the other diners ate heartily, oblivious to the horror he had just witnessed. Beads of sweat formed on his forehead as he slowly pushed the plate away. He knew he could not ignore what had just happened. That night, as he lay on the thin mattress in the village parsonage, he was tormented by visions of restless spirits whispering in strange tongues. They clawed at the darkness, their hollow eyes pleading for help. Jolted awake, the pastor fell to his knees and began to pray fervently, seeking divine guidance. Whatever evil lurked in Mama G's food was far from ordinary, and he had been sent to Umuaka for a reason. Determined to uncover the truth, Pastor Ihuoma decided to fast the next day. He would seek answers through prayer and speak to the village elders about the strange occurrences tied to Mama G's eatery. Little did he know, his investigation would uncover horrors far beyond his imagination. The following morning, Pastor Ihuoma met with the village elders at the chief's palace. He narrated his unsettling experience and the visions that had haunted him overnight. The elders listened in silence, their faces impassive. When he was done speaking, Chief Okafor, the oldest of them, let out a weary sigh. "Pastor, we have heard rumors over the years," the chief admitted. "People speak of strange dreams and shadows, but no one has proof. Mama G is beloved in this village. Her food brings prosperity, and we cannot accuse her without evidence." Pastor Ihuoma was not deterred. "Chief, the spirits of the dead cry out for justice. This is no ordinary matter. If we do nothing, the village will suffer." That night, as the moon cast an eerie glow over Umuaka, Mama G sat alone in her dimly lit kitchen. The whispers of the dead swirled around her, their voices a mix of gratitude and hunger. She closed her eyes, relishing the power their essence had given her. But she was also aware of the growing threat, Pastor Ihuoma. A sudden gust of wind sent the cooking pots clattering to the ground. She snapped her eyes open, sensing a disturbance in the energy around her. Someone was watching. At the same moment, Pastor Ihuoma knelt in prayer, his Bible open before him. He knew the battle ahead would not be fought with mere words. He had seen darkness before, but this was something deeper, something ancient. As he whispered a fervent prayer, the candles around him flickered violently. Unknown to him, Mama G had already set her own plans in motion. She would not go down without a fight. The spirits that bound her to power were restless, and they would not allow anyone to take away their link to the world of the living. The next morning, the village square was filled with crowd and tension. As Pastor Ihuoma began to speak, a sudden gust of wind howled through the crowd. Mama G stepped forward, her eyes burning with fury. "You dare challenge me?" she hissed. The spirits around her grew restless and the sky darkened. The final battle was at hand. The ground trembled as unseen forces clashed. The villagers, terrified, scattered in all directions. Pastor Ihuoma stood firm, his voice rising above the chaos. "You have no power here, Mama G. Release the souls you have bound." Mama G's laughter was chilling. "They are mine. They chose me." But even as she spoke, cracks formed in the spiritual realm around her. The spirits, no longer willing to be enslaved, began to fight back. As dark clouds swirled above, Pastor Ihuoma held up his Bible, chanting prayers of deliverance. Mama G let out a piercing scream as the spirits surrounding her twisted in agony. The battle for Umuaka had truly begun. The battle between light and darkness raged on. Pastor Ihuoma's prayers grew louder, his voice filled with authority as he rebuked the forces of evil. Mama G writhed in agony as the spirits she had enslaved turned against her, their hollow eyes now burning with rage. The air crackled with energy and a deafening scream pierced the night as the spirits lunged at their captor. Mama G fell to the ground, her body convulsing as the spirits swirled around her, stripping away the dark power she had amassed. Her once radiant skin turned sallow, her hair grayed, and her body weakened under the weight of the spirits' wrath. The ground beneath her cracked open, and with one final shriek, she collapsed, lifeless, as the spirits vanished into the night, finally free. The village, once shrouded in darkness, felt a strange calm. The eerie atmosphere that had long lingered around Mama G's eatery dissipated. The villagers, though shaken, knew that the curse had been lifted. By morning, news of Mama G's demise spread like wildfire. Some mourned the loss of a woman they once revered, while others whispered of her dark deeds, finally revealed. The food stall that once bustled with life now stood abandoned, a grim reminder of the horrors that had taken place there. Pastor Ihuoma gathered the villagers at the town square. "The spirits have found rest, but let this be a lesson to all. Evil thrives where silence reigns. The truth must always be sought, no matter how painful." With the past put to rest, the village slowly returned to normalcy. The laughter of children once again filled the air, and the people of Umuaka moved forward, forever changed by the tale of Mama G, the woman who bound the living and the dead through food.